Today, this is an exciting day because I've known Emily for a long time, the semi-world famous Emily Faith. And I Googled Emily before we started, and it says, Emily is a Kingfisher, Oklahoma-based Christian country singer, songwriter, and guitarist. That's a little dated.
Just a little bit, yeah.
A lot of people will know you as your, for your long-time musical career, and that kind of took up your entire childhood.
It did, all the way.
You traveled a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we were traveling every weekend growing up, going to different places in Oklahoma, to Texas, Nashville, you name it.
Wow. And you can't go, if anybody been living under a rock and doesn't know Emily, you can't go on social media without coming across something that you're on, especially now. We'll talk about why in a minute here. But I think it's also part of the Google, it said at age 6, you opened for President George Bush at a 4th of July show. What in the world was that?
Yeah, it was, so I was 6, and President Bush was speaking in Woodward, Oklahoma. I don't remember, I think it was 4th of July. I don't really remember for sure what it was. I was really young, had a lot of different stuff on my mind then. And my parents just got a phone call. They had posted a video of me on YouTube singing God Bless the USA. And they got a phone call from one of his secretaries. I don't remember who it was, but they said, President Bush loves your daughter singing God Bless the USA and wants her to open for him before he goes on stage and speaks in Woodward.
This was actually from the president's office?
This was from the President of the United States office. And so they were like, he is requesting that she opens for him.
Wow.
So can you, is she available? And they were like, yeah, we're not gonna say no to
cancel everything else.
Like, So they were like, cool, you need to be in Woodward to be fingerprinted and go through security clearances in 2.5 hours. And we were like, okay, we're hopping in the car and we're going. It's a good drive out there from Kingfisher. So we booked it out there, and all thanks to my dad's driving, and got us there on time, I'll tell you that.
That would be explaining to the highway patrolman why you were speeding.
Yeah, luckily we were in the clear. We were in the clear. No troopers, no nothing. We were in the clear. Got there very safely, I'll say that.
Yep.
And I went through everything, and then the next day I was out there singing before President Bush went on stage. It was cool. They also had Sawyer Brown and Marty Stewart. They were there performing for the president as well. So got to meet them, and that was a good time. So it was a really cool experience.
Wow. Well, it's neat that you were old enough to remember that. It wasn't
It was, all I remember really is just being in my signature patriotic outfit, the little red dress, red cowboy boots, Shirley Temple curls, and the red bow, and then just went out on stage. I remember looking into this sea of hundreds of thousands of people all gathered, and I just remember looking at all of them and just singing my heart out, and that was that, and then took a picture with the president afterwards, and it was a pretty good day.
So at about 8, you started writing songs, and one in particular was about bullying, and that's when I met you.
Yeah.
You produced your first, was that your first music video?
My first music video.
We produced this really cool, we took over a school. We took over a whole school in Enid. And shot for 2 days, I think it was. And it was called Mean Girls.
Yes.
So what was that about?
Yeah, I mean, like you had mentioned, we traveled a lot when I was growing up, and instead of going to the regular basketball games at the school that in Okarche, instead of going to birthday parties, instead of doing the regular kid things, what I wanted to do, what I thought was the most fun, was traveling the Opry circuit in Oklahoma and Texas, taking trips to Nashville. So I was gone a lot and missed out on a lot of things that most people would think a little kid would want to do. So the other kids around me, they were like, "Oh, you're weird. You don't want to go to that? You want to do what? You want to sing? Why? Obviously
you're a weirdo,
yeah, they're like, you're weird. Who wouldn't want to go to, the ice cream party after school? So it was just things like that. And it did affect me after a little while, just because you got all these kids picking on you just for stepping out and doing something different that people may not be used to seeing, especially in rural Oklahoma.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I just decided to write the song and put all my emotion into it, and that's how I channeled it was through the lyrics and storytelling about what I was going through, and that carried throughout, you know, my entire life of being able to put my emotions into lyrics. Being able to connect with the audience through those different experiences and whatnot.
Well,
So,
even your most recent songs were very meaningful. They always had a message.
yeah.
And very, very well done. It wasn't just being a bebop singer, you know.
Yes,
you had a
yeah.
message.
Well,
So,
I appreciate that, and that's always been a goal of mine in music, is making sure that my songs, they have meaning behind them, but also they tell that story, because that's when people can connect with you most, even if they don't know you personally. If you hear a song that you can relate to, you know, you're gonna fall in love with it. So that's always been a goal.
I love it. Now, you've opened for artists like, and I don't know this one, For King and Country.
Yes.
Is that, oh, sorry, not a country guy. But,
Yeah.
and then the Newsboys, I was actually at that concert. Or
Yeah.
at one of them, we filmed a little bit for you. And then you were featured on Radio Disney.
Yes.
That had to have been cool.
It was a lot of cool. I mean, growing up, you watch Disney Channel. That was the thing as a kid. I don't know if that still is a thing or not. I'm making myself feel old now.
Ask Ivan, he has.
But
he has
but yeah, Disney Channel, Radio Disney, all of that was the cool thing. And so it was really, really amazing to be able to go into that building. And then Newsboys being on their 50-city nationwide tour I think I was 14 when I went on that tour. So to have that experience at such a young age was really, really cool, but also very valuable. I learned a lot from that experience. And for King and Country, same thing. I think I opened for them when I was like 16, maybe. And they were, I mean, Luke and Joel, the lead singers of that band, are just incredible people besides just incredible musicians. So being able to be around them and in that environment I was very blessed to be able to be in their presence. So
That is neat. And then now you have dozens, I stopped counting after dozens of music videos and countless original material that you've created. Have you ever written anything that someone has picked up and performed, or is it pretty much just what you have performed?
I mean, not that I know of. If there is,
You'd probably get a check if
yeah,
that's
if
the
there
indicator something's happened there.
Exactly. Hopefully, it'd be a big check. If there is, please let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything that I have wrote has been something that I've put out as my own. And there are songs that I've written that they haven't been released. The songwriting process, it's not just you write one and you put it on the album. It is a very lengthy process. You hear about musicians, whenever they are writing for their next album, it takes sometimes 2 years for them to find the right set of maybe 12 songs that are good enough and fit the image and their vision that they're picturing before they put it on the album. So there are so many songs that I have decided to write, and I couldn't tell you how many there are.
Hundreds. You might get one good album out of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very lengthy process for sure.
So you're now the MC of the Oklahoma City Thunder and OU softball. How did that happen? You don't just like pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I can do this."
Yeah, it's kind of a hard left turn in the story for sure. As I've gotten older, I decided to go to the University of Oklahoma and go to college. And I was just kind of doing it as a backup plan for music. I was, so gung-ho. I'm moving to Nashville, pursuing music and doing this. And then I decided to do journalism because I was like, I've been on camera a lot. This is something.
Talking to your mom, and when she said you were a journalism major, it was like,
yes.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, I've been on camera a lot. I've done TV interviews before, and I like it. I love the environment. I'll do that as my backup plan. And then little did I know that backup plan would then take the front seat.
That took plan A.
I fell in love with it, and it was, I think, like the middle of my freshman year that I had been posting all of these sports briefs and news briefs that I was
remember
doing
seeing
for
those, yep.
OU
You were the
Nightly.
anchor of the OU
Yes,
news show or
OU
something?
Nightly.
Yep.
And I was doing all these briefs, just getting my feet wet into it. And I started singing at Thunder games when I was,
I remember
somewhere.
That. You used to like do the national anthem or something.
Yeah,
didn't you?
somewhere between the ages of 10 and 12 was whenever I first sung the national anthem at a Thunder game. And the guy that originally booked me, Jason, he is now over all of entertainment and game presentation. And so it was just kind of a thing where he kind of worked his way through the ranks, and I mean,
Networking.
those people, they have supported me and loved on me for years since I very first sang the national anthem for them, and they have truly become family to me. I always joke with Jason, I'm like, are you my boss, Jason, or are you Uncle Jason? And so we go back and forth, and same way for everybody else in that office. But yeah, he called me and he was like, hey, so at that point, Malcolm Tubbs, my co-MC, who's been there for years and years, he's amazing. His wife was pregnant, and he was about to go on paternity leave for a little bit. And so he was like, we've been looking at some different people to maybe bring in and try out in this MC spot while he's going to be gone. And I've seen your post with your OU Nightly briefs. Would you want to give it a shot? I said, absolutely, sign me up right now. Started off with just, doing some Blue game updates on, their scores and stats and everything during Thunder games, and then just grew into it and eventually got to the point where they were throwing me on the court with the mic in my hand. And OU softball, I had sung the national anthem for them several times, especially at Women's College World Series and whatnot through the years. And they were looking for a new in-game MC. So it was right after I started for Thunder that one of their representatives was at a game and stopped me and was like, I work for OU softball. Can I give you a call sometime this week? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I love Miss Patty Gasso. Love her girls. Big, big fan. And so that was where that started, and I worked for them for about 2 seasons, all the way through college. And it was really, really cool to be able to do that. Knowing how big of OU fans my family is, that was incredible to be able to be part of that and get to talk with Gasso up close. And she's incredible. I am like I said, a big fan of hers. So.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I found out about it, but you were on American Idol.
Yes.
I mean, that's another one. You don't just call them up and say, "Hey, I'd like to audition."
Yeah, that one was a definite. That's another hard left turn. We're doing a lot of those. But yeah, we had talked with their producers through the years. They had asked me if I wanted to come on the show. And for the longest time, they had age cutoffs, and so I wasn't old enough. And then it was my freshman year of college in 2021 that we got the phone call that they wanted me to come audition and were offering it again. So I was like, might as well. I mean, I'm just a freshman in college. I'm starting out. I don't really have anything going on right now. Sure, absolutely. So I left in the middle of October that year and was gone for about a week.
And you went to L.A.
Yes, I went and auditioned in L.A. in front of Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan. And it was actually really nerve-wracking because I got sick. Like the day before I was supposed to leave, I came down with a case of bronchitis and laryngitis. Oh, no. So we're trying to get steroid shots, and I'm doing, ginger and turmeric, wellness things, and it's a whole thing. And luckily my voice was, I think I got it to about 80%, and I had to change a bunch of stuff. I had to change the songs I was planning on singing, and I went in there and was lucky enough to get three yeses and a gold ticket to Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. You got the gold ticket. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And Hollywood Week was also great. Being able to be in a room with so many talented people was incredible. I mean, I'll say it. Some of those people are more talented than some of the artists you'll hear on the radio.
Wow.
They are
They
phenomenal.
just haven't got in front of the right people
They
yet.
just haven't
Yeah.
gotten their shot, and they are phenomenal on the stage and off the stage. And so being able to spend time with all of those people from across the world was really, really special. And we still follow each other on social media, stay in touch and whatnot. So it's cool.
Did you get to interact with the judges at all, or was it?
We did. It's there's actually a video that I have, and it was during one of our breaks in Hollywood Week. And they all would come out on the stage and they would talk to us. They'd be like, "How y'all doing?" Or they'd turn around in their chairs and just chit chat with us for a bit. Lionel was always the best because he would just turn around and he would just start giving us life advice, which was really fun. But there's a video I have, and it's Luke and Lionel, and they're on the stage. Luke is at the piano, and we all just started singing "Easy Like Sunday Morning." And it was really, really cool to be able to have that. Of course, Lionel took the lead. Of course,
his
yeah,
song.
it's his song. So of course he took the lead on it, and we were all just kind of like his choir, his backup singers. We all had our flashlights on, and it was really, really nice to be able to have that interaction with them, rather than just. Yep, they're here. You can't talk to them. You can't interact. You can't do any of that. It was neat to have that experience.
And there was like all this secrecy between when you did it and when it aired. Because I interviewed you in between.
Yes.
And you had a coach on the phone with us. We couldn't. Can I ask her this? Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't go here. And
yeah, it was. It's interesting seeing the secrets of reality television. I always say, like, American Idol was incredible. I'm so grateful I did it. At the end of the day, though, it is a reality television show. So seeing all the ins and outs of how the producers pack everything together.
Producer-driven and
yes, how they make decisions and whatnot. It's interesting to see. But it is very eye-opening. If you've never seen how even just a regular TV show that is scripted, reality TV, it is similar, and so it's very interesting to see that process take place right in front of your eyes.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So then you graduated.
I did,
and you got a television news anchor in Texas was it KFDX?
KFDX,
in
yes.
Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
I mean, did you start as the anchor? I mean, people don't start in the anchor seat. How did that work?
So I did. I started as a morning anchor there, and I credit all of that to the experience and the training that OU, their journalism program, gives you.
Well, usually you end up out in a snowstorm or the desert
usually,
or something before you get the anchor desk.
It was definitely, I was very fortunate and very blessed to be given that opportunity. And again, all credit goes to my mentors and the training I got at OU. There's a reason it is the #1 media and journalism program in the nation. And so I got the job. I had a lot of people ask me why I didn't, go to Oklahoma City. I had job offers in OKC and elsewhere, and everybody was like, Wichita Falls, Texas. What? Why are you going there? Yep. Well, I met a boy, fell in love, got engaged, and so that was where he was he's in the Air Force, and so that's where.
I was wondering how you ended up there, because I figured you probably could have got into one of the metro stations. But,
yeah, I
okay.
I did have job offers here in Oklahoma City from different stations, but my husband, he's in the Air Force, and so he was in his.
Okay, so she got married.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, with Vance so close, you're a flyboy wife.
A flyboy wife.
Yes.
My mom would probably think that's hilarious, because whenever we first started dating, that was how she always referred to him, was either flyboy or Top Gun, before she met him and everything. So yeah, that's funny. But yeah, that's what took me to Wichita Falls, and I was a morning anchor there for almost a year. I loved every second of it. The Texoma community was really, really great. It was nice to be still pretty close to home as well for my first job. But yeah, it was awesome. That, like you said, it is rare that you get to go straight out of college into an anchor
I don't know
position.
if I've ever heard anyone that's done that.
Yeah.
Even small market. Usually they
Yeah.
throw you in the live truck with some photographer guy and you go out in the mud.
Yeah. So it was really, really cool. Very, very, very grateful to have that.
So I'll put two things together here. You won a major award, but found out about it how?
So yes, my co-anchor Jalen Wells and I, we actually won the Best Anchor Team Award in the state of Texas for the Texas Broadcasters Association. So we won it for the small market category.
Still a big deal.
It's incredible. I mean, there are so many people that submit. Texas is a very, very competitive state when it comes to journalism awards. So really, really exciting. But yeah, it was the night of my wedding. I had invited my coworkers up, and we thought we were supposed to find out like the middle of March, and they announced him early. They announced him the day before I got married. I, of course, wasn't checking my work email. I was a little preoccupied. And so it was towards the end of the reception that my coworkers, they were like, oh my gosh, by the way, you saw the work email, right? I was like, guys, no, been a little bit busy today. And they were like, well, Jalen, like, you tell her, because this is y'all's. And
So did he know?
Yes, he knew. My co-anchor knew. And so I was like, okay, what is going on? This is like a weird, like, what's happening? And he was like, we won. I was like, won what? I had forgotten about it because we submitted for it weeks and weeks before, so it just slipped my mind. You submit it and you just forget about it because you don't know what's going to happen.
Never hear from them again.
Yeah, so he was like, the Anchor Award, we won. And everybody went crazy. It was incredible.
Wow.
I mean, our families were so excited. It was a nice icing on the wedding cake for that day for sure.
That's cool. So you got married and you moved, and now you're a reporter in Albuquerque.
Yes. So so my husband, he's a pilot in the Air Force, and he was chosen to become an AC-130 gunship pilot. So he's spec ops and everything, and it's really, really cool. The plane is pretty awesome, and it has
I saw a picture of you with it.
Yes.
Get up. Did you get to go in and all that?
We did a spouse's day at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, where we're at, and I got to fly in it before he got to fly on it, which is kind of a fun little flex.
Hold that over his head.
Yeah, some of our friends that we made on base, all of us wives, we got to fly in it before our husbands, and so we're all like, oh yeah, this is so cool. And so that was a really fun experience to actually be able to be on the plane that he is going to fly, just so I could understand it a little bit better. But it has a really, really awesome mission supporting our troops on the ground. But yeah, we got the orders to move to Albuquerque, and that was my first step. Was okay, what news stations are there, and who's got a job opening? And when I first looked, I was a little bit nervous because there wasn't any positions open.
Well, and it's a pretty big market.
It is, yeah. It's Market 48. Oklahoma City is Market 47, just for scale. So it's a really big market, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find a job out there, especially because in that size market, it's very competitive too. A lot of the time, having 9-10 months of work in the real world on your resume is not enough to make a 100 market jump and get a position on camera in that size. So I was really, really holding my breath and just hoping. There were several different positions that opened up at the different stations, and ended up falling in love with KOB4, with their team out there and their leadership. Really great company, amazing people. Yes, NBC affiliate, and the team there. I've only been there for like a month right now, and I have learned so much from the people there. Everybody's so friendly, so willing to help out. It's definitely a family environment, which is really, really nice. But I'm back in the field. Reporter cap is on, and took me a second to get back into it from being at the anchor desk for so
Air
long.
conditioning and makeup, table.
Just the nice, you just go, you sit at the desk, you kind of have the more chill experience as the
Now you're
anchor.
living out of a live truck with
And then,
broken air conditioning.
Yep, reporting. You're making phone calls, you're sending emails, you're trying to get someone to talk to you, you're driving. Gosh, especially in our state, New Mexico, it's so big and we cover the entire state. So there are times where we'll have to drive sometimes 3.5 hours to do a story, sometimes longer, especially with wildfire season and whatnot. So it is a lot more work than I experienced as a morning anchor, and there's a lot more that goes into it with the writing and storytelling, which that's, again, like I mentioned with music, I love the storytelling element. So this is where I get to channel that now. So it all does have somewhat of a connection, even though we took some hard turns there. But yeah, it's been really nice to be back in that space, be communicating with people in the community about things that are affecting them, telling stories of inspiration and change and whatnot. It's been really nice.
So what's the crystal ball say about Emily? I mean, where are we going from here?
Well, you might have to ask the U.S. government about that, at least for the next several years, because where we, like you said, we're an Air Force family, so we will be going wherever they tell us for now, and wherever they want to station us, and we'll just figure it out from there. So we have no idea where we're going after Albuquerque. We have no idea how long we'll be in Albuquerque. So we just go where they tell us.
Where did he basic fly? Did he do Vance?
No, so he was at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, and he was part of the NJET program. So that is it's the only NATO base in the United States, and so he was training with people from Romania, the UK, Germany, Italy, Denmark, you name it. Any of the NATO countries, he was flying with all those guys, and it's a very competitive program to get into. It's like the top 5% something. It's a very competitive process to get into it, and so yeah, that's where he did his basic training, and we've got friends all over the world now, and we're excited to go visit them all, have them show us the best spots in their countries, and it's cool.
I probably messed up the beginning of this because I called you Emily Faith, but what is your married name, and are you using it, or okay, so what is your married name now?
So my married name is Hayworth, but I mean I still go by Emily Faith.
Sure.
That's especially on camera, professional and everything. That's what everybody knows me by. And it was funny, Dawson, my husband, he had asked me while we were in the wedding planning process, he was like, so do you think you're gonna change your last name?
Just hyphenate it.
Yeah, he was like, do you think you're gonna change your last name from Sanders to Hayworth? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm a very traditional person, and so I was like, absolutely, yeah, for sure. And he was like, okay, yeah. He was like, it's up to you. Like that's your choice. Like, I'm cool with whatever. But he was like, I'm fully aware you're always going to be known to everybody as Emily Faith.
Yes.
So I'm good with that. I was just curious about your last name if you were going to change it. But I know you're always going to be Emily Faith to everybody. So we always joke about that and have a good laugh about it. But yeah, so Hayworth, yes. I do go by that, but professionally, Faith.
Got it. You'll always be Emily Faith to me.
Exactly. See, that's that's always it. So
well, Emily, thank you so much for hanging out. I know you are just like a whirlwind of running around. In fact, you're actually here back in Oklahoma because the Thunder won. And now you're continuing your job.
Yes, here because we've made Western Conference Finals. Let's go, and here for all the home games for that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, NBA Finals. Yep. So yeah, back here for that. I'm going to be doing a lot of flying back and forth, but excited to be back in Paycom Center. It's that entire place is just electric at playoffs, and tomorrow night will be great. Shay will be holding up that MVP trophy, real proud. So
awesome. Send me a selfie with it. Yes.
I'll try. I'll
Yeah.
try. I don't know if they'll let me near it, but I'll try. Maybe it'll be one from a distance.
Look over there. You know.
Yeah. See that? You can zoom in quite a bit. It's right there.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Stay tuned.